Welcome back. We're talking about the summit this week between US President Barack Obama and leaders from 6 Gulf states. Now, for a Saudi perspective, joining us from Jeddah is Khaled Batarfi. He is a journalist and also an assistant professor at the Prince Sultan College. Mr. Batarfi, thanks for joining us. We now have the summit that's taken place at Camp David. What did you make of it? What do you think's been achieved?
Well, it's more understanding of each other's positions. Some announcement about arrangement, security arrangements, some promises about more sophisticated weapons to the region, more stronger denouncement of Iran's interference in the region. But honestly, I can't see much of a solid something. Maybe something have been signed that is more solid than what we heard. But what we heard, we could have heard from John Kerry in his frequent visit to the region.
Well, there certainly have been concerns over the possibility of a nuclear deal between Iran and the United States and other countries as well. The United States President, Barack Obama, made the assurance that the United States will defend, using its military forces, if necessary, its Gulf allies. Do you think that reassured the allies?
Well, that's not new. I hope he means what he says. The problem is what is happening outside our borders. Not inside the borders. We are not as much afraid of Iran attacking us directly, but attacking through proxies in the surrounding regions, in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, in Lebanon. That's what we'd like to hear, that America will be more engaged in defending the region beyond its borders, not just when its borders being attacked. That's being assured a long time ago with America, but the thing that's not assured is what will they do to Iran when they surround us with militias that are ready to attack, and as they tried in Iraq, in the southern of Iraq, and in the northern of Yemen.
When you talk about more American engagement, what do you mean by that? Would Saudi Arabia like to see American military intervention in, say, Syria or Lebanon or in Libya, for that matter?
No, but at least they could be clearer with Iran on what they could do and what they cannot do. They are the ones that are directing all these groups and providing them with weapons, with money, with directions. And if they can put this in the deal as a condition that Iran could have the deal, could have their money, but they should stop doing all what they are doing, or their military adventures in the region, something like that. But we haven't seen that in Syria, for example. We haven't seen enough of American determination against Iran intervention.
The Saudi King Salman was supposed to attend this summit, but he cancelled at the last moment. The BBC described that cancellation as a snub. Why did he not attend this summit?
Well, what we know is what we hear, that because of the situation in Yemen, what is also in Riyadh, the summit, the conference of the Yemenis, the dialogue in Riyadh, also the Syrian resistance and opposition movement summit conference in Riyadh. So there is a lot of things going on in here, and not much in Washington or Camp David. I mean, all those promises we heard before, and we don't need the king to go there just to hear all these promises.
Well, as you say, a lot of things going on, but I'm just wondering, could more have been achieved if King Salman was here at the summit?
I think before such summits, things are set, and only readers go to sign what have been agreed in advance. I don't think there is much Obama could have done. He wouldn't have signed a written agreement or a written let us say, promises that America will treat the Arab of Khalij of the Gulf like they are treating South Korea, for example, or Japan, under the American defense umbrella. I don't think this would have been happened. If that would happen, then the king attendance will mean a lot.
Right, and of course America right now is pushing very hard to come to some kind of a deal with Iran. And concerning that, according to the New York Times, a very senior Saudi official, Prince Turki Al-Faisal, who is the former intelligence minister, he said that Saudi Arabia can't sit back and be nowhere, as he put it, as Iran is allowed to retain much of its capability, he's referring to nuclear capability, and amass its research. Which leads to the question, is Saudi Arabia going to be seeking its own nuclear program that could possibly, down the road, lead to a nuclear arms race in the region?
Well, that's why the deal is good for the region. We hope that that will stop Iran's ambitions, nuclear ambitions, and we hope also the next turn would be in Israel. So the region will have zero nuclear weapons. Otherwise, if Iran would insist on having this nuclear weapons, then all options are open for the other regional power to have deterrence, also weapons, to have the balance of power in check.
You know, you said earlier on that Gulf states have heard the assurances from the United States before that the U.S. will come to their aid if they are threatened. Would Saudi Arabia like to see some kind of formal military pact between the United States and the Gulf states, something, say, along the lines of the relationship it has with European countries?
Sure, something like that. I mean, they did that with South Korea, with Japan, with Australia, with many countries who are outside NATO. And we would like to see something like that.
You know, there's a great deal of instability in the Middle East right now. You mentioned some of the trouble spots, but if we look at what's going on right now in Syria, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Libya, what can Saudi Arabia do to ease those tensions?
Well, what I hope my government would do is first humanitarian, to help the people of this nation as they do right now. And the second thing, I hope as a citizen that my government will stand to Iranian interference in this region, getting the help of allies like France and United States if they are willing, and also getting all the Arabs together as in one hand to stop, and Turkey as well, to be an alliance against Iran's interventions in the region, and to support Arabs against the Farsi expansion.
Okay, sir, thank you very much for joining us. Khaled Batarfi there, joining us from Jeddah. We are going to take another break right now. When we come back, what does Iran think about this summit? We'll have that view. You're watching The Heat.